And again, when I say conservative, I'm strictly talking about, a maximum freedom, smaller government, allow people to live their lives.
A little common sense in messaging.
Yeah, and so now it appears that Bill Maher, who at one time he was on my list of people I wanted to fight, and there's still things that Bill Maher thinks that really I would be strongly oppose him on, but he is even now thinking, you know what he's saying? He's really now going into our thing. We're living in a fake world here, and he's had enough of it. Yeah. So he gets on with Jimmy Kimmel, and of course Jimmy, surely is aware of what Bill's been saying, but to his credit, he does bring him on, but it gets into a very uncomfortable conversation for Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
For us, we're loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
So here is courtesy of the Jimmy Kimmel Show, and that's ABC, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. And here's Bill Maher, and he is going toe to toe with Jimmy Kimmel and about the way we are treating this pandemic, and it's a lot of fun. So here we go.
So you are you're on tour now, which is
yes.
How is that going?
Are you going to mention where at some point?
I am going to mention where. I have a
Why
list
I
of the
came
places.
Here. Okay, great.
The places are you're going to be at the San Jose Civic Center.
Thank you.
On the 26th.
Okay.
You're going to be in Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
On November 13th. And you'll be in Madison Square Garden.
New York.
In New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why this is relevant, I have to cite a survey that was in the New York Times, which is a liberal paper, so they weren't looking for this answer. But they were talking about this. The question was, what do you think the chances are that you would have to go to the hospital if you got COVID? Mm-hmm. And Democrats thought that was way higher than Republicans. 41% of Democrats, and the answer is between 1% and 5%.
Okay.
41% of Democrats thought it was over 50%. Another 28% thought it was 20 to 49%. So 70% of Democrats thought it was way higher than it really was. Liberal media has to take a little responsibility for that, for scaring the shit out of people. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's much harder for every touring act to sell tickets in blue states.
Oh, interesting.
They're afraid to go out of the house.
I see.
Whereas in red states, it's all good to go. So I just want to say to those people in San Rafael and Pittsburgh and New York, I ain't going to give it to you. I promise. It's safe. We're doing everything we can. There's distancing. There's masking. Enjoy. Live life.
You did get it in
Embrace life.
You did get it.
I got it after I was vaccinated.
You got it after you were vaccinated, right? And you wouldn't.
And I had no symptoms. That may be because I was vaccinated, but let's not even get into that, because I know you and your boyfriend, Howard Stern, are very paranoid about this. But it's a little weird that I got it after. But now many people have had that same situation.
Yes. I know people very well who have.
Look, bottom line is we know if you're vaccinated, you almost never die from it. So, look, I'm for whatever is getting America back to where I can see the James Bond movie in the theater.
That sounds
strange place for me to say I agree with everything he said.
And this is now twice I've said
I know.
that.
Which I'm going to have to go and double check myself.
Yeah.
See, what I love the most, because, now what's happened is, I'm not saying Bill Maher will never be back on the list of people that I probably would like to fight if it wasn't the wrong way to handle things. But see, Jimmy Kimmel is now solidly on that list. And so I love to see Jimmy Kimmel's, who's now the drama queen, that loves to talk down to us and tell us how stupid we are and says we deserve to die, like he and his, as Bill Maher called his boyfriend Howard Stern, which I love. The uncomfortable laughs from Jimmy Kimmel, I probably enjoyed that more than I should.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To hear him, and what Bill Maher is saying is, why don't we, and we've said this 1,000 times, am I saying this? Is this really happening?
I know.
Bill Maher and us have been saying, why don't we just simply, and I know that the left and any government, these things are just too, it's like Bubba and I, looking, and we found out that Krispy Kreme has donuts hot now. It's almost like we would uncontrollably go have some. And tyrants and people who love power, they can't let an opportunity of fear go and grab some ground. They just can't. It's not in their nature to turn that down. And Bill Maher is saying, we do have a pandemic. We do have people getting sick. We do have some people who die from it. But I wish we would just tell the true story about it. You know, what's the percentage that I'll end up in the hospital? 1 in 5%, 1 to 5.
1 to 5, yeah.
What's the chance that I'll die? Less than 1%. Or if you're a little bit older, probably 3 to 5%. Okay, why can't we tell these?
It's still terrible for the people who have lost their life.
The people that we love that have died from it. It's awful.
But when you look at a pandemic and all this, you have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the science of the whole country, so you know what you're up against.
Right, and then it looks like, and I'm glad that we are not, locking ourselves away. But what's happening now is that's good news. But now the bad news is the tribalism of it all and the demonizing of the unvaccinated. And the bizarreness of withholding treatments and all this kind of stuff, and you're not allowed to say certain things, that seems to be worse right now than it was before. And that, to me, that part, if we could get that a little more under control, I think we could have a level-headed approach to what is real and can be a problem. But and yes, it is true that I know some people that COVID was what came into their life that ended their life. But even in my own life, the number of people I know that have survived COVID versus the ones who haven't, it's not even close.
Right.